Give me 5 and ready.
Drop the bass. Welcome in to the Holochronicles.
Hey.
What's up, BNB?
This is Josh.
Welcome.
We've got Andy and Trev with us as always. And man, here we are.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy
fellas.
St.
back,
Patty's.
yeah.
Now, we got a lot going on today. We're pretty excited about it. But first things first, we want to thank everyone out there, all our listeners, and, you know, on iTunes, Spotify, what else? Google Play,
Stitcher.
SoundCloud. Yeah, we got them all. And today, we hope, for the first time ever, YouTube. Well, not the first time. Technically,
see how
the
it goes.
second
There it
time.
is.
We'll see.
What's up?
Yeah,
see
multi-angle
how it goes.
YouTube. So we thank you for listening and or viewing
And following.
and following. So obviously on our social platforms, Twitter at Holochronicles. We've got Instagram at Holochronicles and Facebook /Holochronicles. So you can get us anywhere. Come on, follow us up. We have a good time. We'll tell you that much.
Yes, we do. We have a good time. Let's get right into the news.
Let's get right into the
News it
news.
is.
Do it.
Star Wars News!
First off, I want to say the Barge video was a huge success for three guys sitting in a basement.
It wasn't bad.
We really
How many views?
We are over 2,600 views.
That's fun.
And
Thank you.
It's been up
you.
a week. It's been up a week. Thank you very much. That was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. We got a lot of positive responses from that, and
It was so much fun to do.
it was it was
It was childish, but
it's
fun.
like
It's
we
nice
would have
to be
done
back.
we would have done all that anyway.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we
yeah.
just put it online, and
We just decided to share. So we still have some remnants
Yeah.
left
Right
over.
here. Right here behind
things
you.
left
back
over
behind
down
me
here.
over here.
That's
yeah.
just because we don't clean.
No,
It's not for decoration.
No.
It's
Well,
just
no.
a mess.
But it's been a couple weeks since we last potted. It feels good to be back.
It does.
Feels good to be back, sitting here talking about what we like to talk about. Josh, you and I do the Twitter stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we,
Trev's on the other platforms,
Yeah.
pumping it up.
Trevor
Nobody
does the,
talks on
No,
Facebook.
they don't talk there.
No.
But Twitter is
Or
definitely
Instagram.
a buzz.
Yeah. And we woke up one morning to a message in our DMs.
Fantastic news.
And
Can I take it,
Josh, you
Because
got
I
it.
actually grabbed it. So because we share,
I'm so
Andy-
tempted to show it before you say it.
not yet. Andy and I share the. I mean, we talk to you, so sometimes we'll identify ourselves as Josh or Andy or whatever, and mostly it's Andy. Let's be honest. But whoever gets the notification first wins, right? So I got this notification, this direct message, this DM, and it says, "Hey, follow this guy on Twitter." And I kind of read the message before I read
who it was
who
from.
sent it to me, and I'm like, and then I look up, and it is the Emperor himself,
Emperor Palpatine.
Ian McDermott, and he's
Ian
just
McDermott.
like, "Hey, check this guy out, check him out," and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa!" And I start freaking out, and I screenshot it right away, and then I of course I'm texting everybody, and then I go and check the dude out, but I said like, "Hey, there's no other answer, right?" Except
No.
for
No.
yes, my master.
Yep.
So I said yes, my master, directly to the Emperor of the Galaxy, which is probably the highlight of my life.
Clearly.
And then jumped over to the dude and followed him. He had 702 followers. I became number 703. So then we just started like, okay, it's a bot. Obviously, Ian's got some
Some guy doing his
guy
Twitter
doing his
for him.
Twitter and like, hey, we and Ian's like, I want you to promote this director, you know. And so the guy's
Because
like, yes, my master.
Because the guy he wanted you to follow is a director.
He's a producer,
One-
director,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, watch this guy's feed or followers go through the roof.
And like a few days later,
And like a few days later, he's got 706 followers, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Did
He
the
legit
Emperor
sought
just
us out.
He looked us up and he was like, Holochronicles.
We were chosen.
These-
One
You
of the
shall not
chosen.
judge.
Right?
we were
I thought maybe it would be he was looking for Holly, Chronally, but he found Holochronicles and went ahead and DM'd us.
I mean, what could it hurt?
It was
So we
a
got
mistype.
trolled by the Emperor, which is
Yeah,
fantastic.
he never responded.
No, he
but
didn't.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Put the image up.
It's been up. I like that you showed your hand
I did.
autograph.
I
Yeah, the
did.
signature. Like,
I
hey,
did.
we're buddies. Remember me? Look at this. I like it.
Well, it just happened to be coincidental that Josh, you got that autographed poster in the mail like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And so I was like, hey, put a picture up there and tell him thanks for the autograph. And
Yeah, we did, but
he didn't respond
he did
back.
Not reply. No, he's over there in England or something, UK. So he's
somewhere in the
he's sleeping.
the
Your
time
goal,
difference.
now your goal is to get him to block you.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Well, just for the tally mark right now is 3. We've gotten an interaction with Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
That's huge.
That was a like.
That's a big one.
That's a like.
That's
He
bigger
liked
than
a
the
post.
master.
He did.
He liked to post. Then we got a direct message from Emperor Palpatine,
Yes, a
And-
DM troll.
and then it's such a good. Like you could be Emperor Palpatine on like
A video
on
game.
like
Or
video
it's
game,
maybe
or
Legos.
Clone Wars. Yeah, if the guy loses his voice, I nominate Josh.
Thank you.
And then also the guy that runs BB-8 on the sequels, Brian.
Brian, I know, and I feel really bad forgetting his last name because he's a cool dude. Because what happened? We had what was the name of the other guy that did BB-8's voice? Hader.
Bill
Hader. One of our followers is like, "Is that Bill Hader's signature?" And Brian can't remember his last name. Was
Henning.
like, "Nope."
And, yeah.
We're like, yeah.
And then I also interacted with him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yesterday, and that was kind of fun too. He actually responds to his Twitters, guys.
No, he's a cool dude.
Seems like a nice. Also, Brit. He's a Brit.
He's a Brit.
He's a Brit. He's a Brit.
Cheap labor.
This one blew me away. This little piece of it doesn't really mean anything other than it just blew me away that holy crap, it's been that long already. But Jake Lloyd, the kid or he's not a kid anymore, that plays the kid version of Anakin turned 30 last week, and it was like,
wow,
dude,
the kid version.
the kid version of Anakin
What
turned
is he doing?
30.
What
Yes.
is he doing right now?
I don't know. He's probably listening to us.
Sanitation?
I think he went to prison.
No, that was
not-
Screech from Saved by the Bell.
That's right. I always get them
Diamond.
confused.
Dustin Diamond.
Dustin Diamond.
No, I think they're. Oh no, mental health. I think
Yeah,
they went to-
something.
yeah,
I don't know.
Either way,
He
we
didn't
still
turn
like
out
him.
to be.
We still like
He
him.
didn't turn out to be a NASCAR racer, which
No.
I thought was. Gonna
Yeah.
Yeah, that seemed like
right?
hand in hand.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously he's living in a big shadow.
He's
He is
big shoes to
big
fill
old
there.
cape.
Well, wherever you're at, Jake Lloyd, happy birthday, and I hope you're doing okay, man.
I hope you just got 2.5 kids and all that stuff. I mean, just average dude. Terrible actor, by the way. Anyway,
Oh, really? I thought he was good.
Oh,
as
he
a
was awful.
kid.
Wow.
I thought he was better than
Wow,
Hayden
he was
Christensen.
he put the
kid,
menace
man.
in Phantom Menace.
Why are you
Oh,
picking on a
much-
kid?
Man, he's
Good
just kicking a
Lord.
kid.
I thought he did good.
All right.
He was awful.
He did great.
Him
remember,
and Jar Jar.
You've got your own opinion.
Remember
on it.
when
That's
he
fine.
had to dive so he didn't get hit by Darth? The best acting I've ever seen in my life. Nailed it.
Moving on here, Oscar Isaac's birthday also happened recently, as well as John Boyega. But
Are they older or younger than Annie?
right now?
Yeah, like in real life.
I
I mean the actors who played Annie.
Boyega is younger. Oscar is older.
There you go.
I think that's
That's
right.
good enough.
But Oscar Isaac is on a press tour, or has been on a press tour for his new Netflix movie called Chipper Frontier. And he, of course, got asked about Episode 9.
Sure.
Because
He made a pretty poignant comment, didn't
yeah,
he?
the comment that got a lot of buzz was that, well, it's the end of the Skywalker saga. And it didn't really... When I first heard it, it didn't strike me as anything odd because it is. It's number 9. It's the last of the sequels. It's the end, right, of what George Lucas's broad plan for it was. You know, the original trilogy was the middle act of what ended up being 9 episodes. And so now, yeah, we're end. But he called it the end of the Skywalker saga.
Doesn't that mean Kylo's dead?
Well, I mean, if
Ooh.
it's the end of the Skywalkers, we know that Leia is not going to make it through this movie.
Right.
We know that there are no other Skywalkers other than her son. And they kind of, in episode 8, they kind of left us with the assumption that he's not going to be turned. He had an opportunity to go with Rey. He wanted Rey to come with her instead. It didn't happen. And Luke and Leia both kind of resigned themselves to the fact that he's lost. And he will not come back.
Seems hopeless in a galaxy full of hope.
That's what rebellions are built on,
Right.
Josh. So that just got people talking a little bit like, oh, that must mean Kylo's not going to make it through this movie.
Right.
One way or the other, where if he stays on the dark side or turns back to the light, he's not making it one way or the other, thus ending the Skywalker saga. But not the Star Wars story. It keeps going, and it will keep going. But
I will say this. Can I just add really quick?
Please do.
And which a lot of people, this Skywalker, conversation really evolved out of episode, Last Jedi. I keep saying, I want to say 9, episode 8, The Last Jedi, because of the conflict with Luke and Leia, obviously having to go away. They started comparing the Star Wars saga to or at least in parallel with the Skywalkers. And I got to be honest, I never personally thought that Star Wars equaled Skywalker. I didn't. It's easy to draw those connections after you've got Anakin going through the whole series and then Luke through the next. I get it that that Skywalker is connected to Star Wars, but
well, it wasn't even like in the original trilogy. It wasn't even a Skywalker story until maybe possibly the end of Empire Strikes Back when he said, "I am your father."
Right.
Before that, we just thought there was Luke and he was orphaned and lived with his aunt and uncle, but there was no real origins to Luke, and there was really no like banging the doors for an origins for Luke either. There was just this story, and a plot twist in it is that the main bad guy and the hopeful young good guy happened to be father and son.
Exactly.
That was then ironed out and cemented in Return of the Jedi. Like it was a kind of a cliffhanger. Like, no, yes, they are. What? No,
Right.
Hey,
Impossible.
sorry, spoiler
Impossible.
alert. Spoiler alert for Empire Strikes Back for you guys.
Now my kid can't watch it.
Oh,
Thanks.
dang it!
All right.
Is she gonna listen? To
No,
this?
they watched it. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Jeez, what kind of father would I be? They're girls.
Vader-esque. Anyway, so yeah, the end of the Skywalker saga, and so that's kind of where people jump.
So what
to
I'm
a
saying is, there's
conclusion.
obviously deep thinkers that are going to try and draw as many connections as possible. And my point is like I do now. I get it. I see why Skywalker equals Star Wars in some regard. But I never really put that as like, oh, it's the end. Oh, it's the end of the Skywalker saga. It was kind of like, no, it's just that's the way the story is. Obviously, there's main characters, and they happen to be Skywalkers. But it didn't mean to me, especially with the prequels, that Skywalker equaled Jedi or Force or the extension of that. And once they are gone, we lose anything. Because there's other Jedi, there's other Force-sensitive people out there. So while I love the Skywalkers and I love their lineage, it doesn't mean the end of Star Wars to me.
No.
When I hear that the Skywalkers are done, I'm just like, oh, well, fine, maybe not. I know there was tons of stories and
Well, I think Rogue One kind of proved that. You got a bunch of different people, and they were still able to make it interesting.
Sure, you're talking about the movie itself.
I'm saying
right.
without the Skywalkers
Right.
in it, and you still get that.
They
that
were there,
Star
though.
Wars
They were there.
enjoyment.
You knew they were there. They were in the background.
Very last minute, you saw a
doing
little,
stuff.
Yeah,
Doing
but
stuff.
Well, even in the prequel movies,
But I agree.
it's
I don't
possible.
think you got. I mean, you were wanting to see at least when I was watching the prequel movies, you're wanting to see, okay, how does this kind of bubbly kid, Jake Lloyd, become
Good old 30-year-old Jake Lloyd.
how does he become, the most evil man in the galaxy? He's a bad man, And so, you watch those 3 movies and you get glimpses into how that progression happened.
Sure.
But it all feels a bit rushed. I think you get more in like the Clone Wars and in Rebels. There's more answers to how he became Vader and
Right.
in that progression. There's more time and more detail and more episodes and all that
Sure.
stuff to develop him more. But yeah, it never to me as well, never seemed like a Skywalker saga. Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, it was just Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. Is I kind of got awoken to that. Like, whoa, oh yeah, I guess it is.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I did. But anyway, you're saying that Oscar made a very, pointed comment. Now I want to know.
Maybe it was.
Does he know that Kylo is a Skywalker through blood? Because he might be. Except for that guy.
Yeah, and all this stuff too. It's like every word gets dissected over, and it could have just been a passing comment, and likely was.
Right.
And didn't mean much behind it, And people like us are the ones that like, oh, what does that mean? What does that? What's the context? What does he know? What?
Yeah.
All that.
Or it's a hilarious joke.
No, it seems that way already.
Maybe he's trolling us.
He's that funny.
Like Ian. All right.
Moving on.
What else you got in news? Anything?
That's it for the news.
All right.
What do we got next?
Incoming transmission!
Bill Hader?
Nope. That was Brian Herring.
Nope.
Let's see. The incoming transmission. That was.
Yeah, that was the thing you were going to do.
Or the incoming transmission. That was Ian. He gave us a.
Oh, we already
he gave
passed
us a
him?
message.
Oh, I missed that.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Here's the next one. Moving right along.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. Again.
Shout out.
Show me your collection!
It's been 2 weeks since we last podded, and in that time we have featured
We've
two.
been super active too on like a lot of cool collections come through. Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just excited. Thank you for sharing. We always want you to share your collection.
And when you share, direct message us so that we can give each one
Like
its
Ian,
own.
give us a troll DM.
So we can feature them appropriately with their own instead of just in like a passing tweet. We would appreciate that. So the first person we featured, and this was 2 weekends ago, a fellow by the name of Scott McNair, also goes by Wedge.
Oh yeah.
Which I love.
He's a cool dude.
It's like Scott McNair at Scott McNair 12, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a ton of vintage stuff. Like he had a lot of vintage figures and a lot of vintage vehicles. The stuff that we particularly just ooh and ah over. A bunch of last 17 figures, and it just looked like he had them in a box, and he laid them out to take some pictures for us, which we definitely appreciate. He also had card backs of the figures, kind of in their own little stack there. A bunch of Funkos. He had a real cool set of Sabak cards from the movie Solo. And then autographs of people like Jeremy Bullock for Boba, and then of the actual Wedge pilot himself. And
real
Darth
quick
Vader.
I got him coming up here. I got him coming up.
So for those of you who watch us on YouTube here, we'll bring them up. You can see them.
Check them out. Get some Funko.
Can you go up to the top?
Keep going.
Too?
There we go. There's a picture.
Go ahead.
Anyway, Scott seems like a really nice guy, and I want for him so badly to like just put some of his stuff on a shelf and just display because they're so cool. He's got all the right ones too. He's got some very cool last 17 figures.
I like this Wedge one we're looking at. I love that.
Is he doing the storage thing at the moment, or
I don't know. Probably like a lot of people, he's just got so much stuff and nowhere to put it, Yeah. And I think that's a pretty common thing to do. So like for me,
there it is, man. We're putting it up on the screen. I know Trev's probably got a few, but here's a collection. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
we love
Scott,
to see it. He'll get it displayed.
AKA Wedge. Yeah. Well, I mean,
look at that.
For a long time, and you can relate to this too, Josh, but you and I had things just in plastic tubs for a really long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Really long time. And it wasn't until about a year ago for me that I actually had a room to put them in, and I was fortunate enough that I've got a little bit of space in my basement for it that my wife hasn't taken over, and she's allowed me to keep. Thank you, honey.
That's right. That's why you make it really cold down there.
We don't
I'd love to turn this into a sewing room, but
it's just
so cold.
So cold.
Oh,
sorry,
man.
honey. I'll just keep it upstairs. For her cricket, not sewing. She's a cricketer. Crafting, yes. And so I get we didn't discuss a whole lot about where to put it all, but he's got a lot of cool stuff, and because
we love collections.
because it's cool, I want him to put them up. And
I'm a big signature guy. and I like seeing those cool signed. I just like that. For me, it just adds, like, I want pictures of whatever character I'm fond of on the wall, but if it's got the actor's signature on it,
and Wedge, and for me, Wedge is one of my favorites. I wish we knew more.
From the beginning.
He's a stone cold killer.
Yeah, I wish we knew more about Wedge. I wish he got his own.
Like, how'd he get that name, huh? That's what I want to know.
That's his name, Wedge.
Yeah. No, but how
Wedge Antilles. That's his name.
Just how'd he get it?
Antilles.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
That wasn't it.
The guy last weekend, this weekend that we featured, he goes by the name Kylo Ren, and his name.
Ooh, sorry, Matt.
Is at Blair Busick. I'm not sure I said his last name right, but Blair Busick, at Blair Busick. He goes by Kylo Ren, and just happened to message him, kind of out of the blue, and said, "Hey, I see that you liked a couple of our things. Are you a collector? Do you have a collection? If you do, send us up to 4 pictures." Kind of like my spiel is for show me your collection. And it was great. He sent me a picture of 3 decks of cards, 3 Star Wars decks of cards, which is very practical. And then he sent me 3 pictures of books that he had.
Right.
But they were in Hungarian.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so, first of all, I think things Star Wars related that are in different languages are awesome. I have posters in different languages hanging in my room, and
some of those get spendy too, like finding those things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I was like, he shared with me, he's like, I have some Star Wars books, but they're in Hungarian because that's what I used to practice my Hungarian.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, dude, that is like the raddest way to beef up on a second language. Like,
talk about making it a little more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be into Star Wars if you're willing to read books in different languages, or maybe that's maybe the smartest thing I've ever heard.
Right.
Like,
genius.
Like, take something that you love naturally and you already kind of have an idea about, and then let's learn it in a different language, and you can.
That's cool.
That could be genius.
That's a good idea.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so Kylo at Blair Busick, thank you for that. That was one of the most unique collections I have seen, and for maybe one of the best reasons.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was cool. Well, and we've stated before, any collection is a good collection.
Any collection, big or small,
anything,
new or old,
and the cool thing about it is, however old we are, I mean, timeless, really.
Like a fine wine.
I've gone through all the many stages of collecting. There's different times in your life where lots of denial, lots of denial, lots of regret. But
Never.
But you ramp up and you cool down. Look, you're having kids, you're getting married. All this stuff changes your life, and then you're like, "Now, what the hell do I do now? I guess I better buy toys." I mean, honestly,
I mean,
now that we can afford them,
when you get there, it'll be fantastic.
This will be fun. Learn from us, either what to do or what not to do, whatever.
Yeah.
Just learn from us.
Buy ridiculous T-shirts, just all of this stuff.
Josh, I really am enjoying your T-shirt today. And
can you see it?
Wicked awesome.
You got to stand up. You can't see it behind you. It's actually wicked.
Bad pod, but yeah.
There you go.
For those that can see, it's a beautiful shirt.
My wife is like,
why are
his eyes so sad? And I'm just like,
that's
he was supposed to be a Wookiee.
He's short.
All right.
Every week we try to do an Easter egg discussion.
Easter eggs.
Oh boy.
Okay.
This is a good one. I think we got some footage of this.
So
by that I mean pictures.
Star Wars Rebels is my favorite of the Disney era entities, Star Wars related.
Resistance isn't coming in over that yet?
It's good.
Yeah.
I don't like it more than Rebels, at least not yet.
You're a full-grown adult. Good for you. I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means.
Okay. And I particularly enjoyed when I noticed in the movie Rogue One, the ghost ship from Rebels made a couple appearances in that movie, and that that went along with the timeline of, the characters. They were an early part of that, that rebel influence, just like they were in the cartoon. So it made sense that they were there. It was just cool to see. Oh yeah, there's the ghost. And it's flying around in the battle above Scarif, and it was at the Yavin base. Kind of off to the left there on one scene, and I noticed that in the movie. In the movie, I was like, hey, I think I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. And so that was really cool for me. But what I came to find out later was that the droid Chopper also made an appearance in the movie too, which I love. I love that not only was the ship there, kind of thinking that, okay, well, somewhere that means, Hera was there too, because she piloted the ship, and anyway, all the other characters, Kanan was probably there too, and maybe some of the other ones.
Sure.
But just knowing that Chopper was there and could be seen, that just kind of cemented it as like awesome.
Right.
And we'll talk more about this later, but it kind of I have a theory that I'm going to share.
I know you're going to get there. I've been waiting all week.
I have a theory that I'm going to share.
We had like this whole barge interruption.
Yeah, no doubt. Can we circle back to the barge real quick?
Okay.
And
you know what?
And then I'll get to my
theory.
What?
You can always
I'll allow it.
You'll circle back to the barge.
So when we opened up the barge and, saw it in all of its glory and all the parts and the detail and just opening up a big thing that we've been waiting for a year. And,
sure.
And then the yak face and stuff. What was your favorite part about that, Josh?
Oh, that's a great question. I am a in the moment kind of guy. I think I've said that before, to be honest with you. I just love, anticipation is one thing, and then the reality of it happening is another, and then the reminiscing happens, after that. So that for me, I've gone back and I've, obviously just for putting our stuff up, I've watched our video a couple times, not entirely, not straight through. I'm not weird.
2,600
I'm not
times.
weird. Yeah, 2,600 times.
I knew it.
On unique computers. I'm just like, all right, off to the next library. It was just a fun. I got that feeling, like the Christmas morning feeling. It's fun, a little anxious, a little like, oh, finally, and even some relief of actually, getting to handle it and put it together, and some fun we were having with the people that were watching, interacting with us, giving us
fun.
crap for, for all the stuff they figured out yesterday. Yeah. But that was, I guess my favorite part would, honestly, if not to get too cheesy, would just be like we all did it together. It was really fun. And,
Agreed.
And then you guys got to go and take care of your barges at home. But thanks for helping me put mine together. It was a ton of fun. And I think we all text each other later. We're so sappy. We're texting each other about how great a time it was. And I think that's what was my, was a fulfilling interaction. So there you go.
Trev, you have a highlight?
I'm trying to zoom in, see if there's a tear on his face.
Check wickets.
I agree with that. The highlight of it, I think now that it's over, the wait was better. Although I would have liked to release the video on Thursday, but the wait, it just made it like it's coming.
Even the extended wait was made it better, right? I mean, come on, would you trade it for anything?
It did,
then it was just like,
it was like,
well,
come
you
on.
FedEx.
We were we were a little pissed off at the time.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to get
Andy.
it the Thursday before,
right?
And then we were bummed that we weren't. But then maybe one of our friends, George, was going to get it on
we
Friday.
had an angle on Friday,
so that maybe we could open up his and give another one to him later, and just so that we could get a video out earlier. Just to be
whatever
first,
topical,
yes, relevant,
yeah,
in a more timely manner. But the funniest thing for me, like. Two things. I enjoyed watching you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. I mean, no doubt about it. And I loved seeing the yak
You're like
face.
the dad.
Well,
you're the dad.
Maybe.
The kids are opening up their gifts.
Good job, buddy. But on so maybe one of us had taken a day off from work to be home just for the FedEx guy because it required a signature. And I won't say who, but some people were off the entire week.
And won't say who.
So you could imagine that person being pretty upset when all of a sudden that morning it was supposed to arrive and they got an email saying that wasn't coming until Monday.
Right.
So yes, there was a little bit of bitterness involved. And,
sure.
And as my uncle always says, there's no sense being bitter if you don't show it. And
it's wisdom. That's
a good uncle.
If you could say that like Yoda,
sleeps on your couch and farts audibly. Yeah,
yes.
Good for him.
He's my neighbor.
Is he subscribed?
I don't think so. He should though. He's one of the reasons I'm into Star Wars, honestly. But anyway, I coached high school track, and this last Monday was it was a snow day. So it was a built-in day that if we had snow and got called from school, that we could have this day that was planned to be off to use it so we wouldn't have to go later into the summer. Well, we haven't had a snow day this winter, and so we had the day off, or teachers in our district had the day off, and we had track practice early in the morning from 9 to about 11.
Right.
And so I'm like agonizing because my wife was not in town that day. I was the only one at home, and I didn't want to leave for 2 hours knowing that if the FedEx guy came and left without seeing me, he was going to take the barge back to Portland, which is an hour away, or at least have it available to me like on Friday for a 2-hour stretch in this obscure place every other week until I come and get it. It was just a big hassle if I wasn't there. And I left a note on the door and everything, like, please, I'm going to be right back. I'm not going to be gone long. Just leave it. It's totally cool. I give my consent and all that stuff. And I know that they wouldn't.
This is
anyway.
A cool story. This is a cool story.
So I'm heading to track practice, and on my way, I passed by a Jack in the Box, and there's a FedEx truck, the FedEx van in the parking lot with its lights flashing, making a stop at the at the bottom of this hill that I live on. And I thought, So I quickly, like maybe a little dangerously, I pull into, I make a quick turn into the parking lot, and I just sit there and I wait.
Tickets in the mail.
Thanks, 5-0. And so I just wait, and I'm hoping that this guy, because we live on right next to a highway that's well-traveled, I-5 highway, and I'm hoping that he's a delivery person for the city that we live in, and not just somebody pulling off the road to grab a quick bite
Hit
to
some
eat.
Jack in the Box.
Yeah, just to
little sourdough Jack at 9 a.m.
Yeah, it was just about 9 in the morning. Anyway, long story short, the guy walks out. I said, "Hey, are you local delivery for the town we're in?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Are you going up to Mount Breen, which is a road I live on?" And he's like, "I got your box." and I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Do you want it now?" And I said, "Yes, I do, because I'm on my way to track practice. I'm not going to be home for a couple hours, and I don't want to miss you." And he's like, "Dude, you're saving me time. Let's do this." And so I walk over to his van, and he's excited, and I'm super excited. And he opens his van door, and it is packed floor to ceiling with just boxes upon boxes upon boxes. And there, my barge sits perfectly in the doorway, as though this whole thing was divinely intervened. And so
apparently,
I just sign my name on it. He throws it in the back of my truck, and I go to track practice, just like stoked. And then it was funny because I couldn't wait to tell you guys about this. And then the first thing you asked me, Josh, was, "Well, did he even check your ID?"
Yeah, right. I know.
and
so if you want a barge out there,
I'm going to be camping at Jack in the Boxes all across the country.
Yeah, because the honest to goodness truth was, no, he did not check my ID. I just told him that I have a box. I did share the address, and the address was written on my box.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a total like, "Hey, I got a box. Okay, here, come grab it."
FedEx fails us again.
I just can't, just driving up on the road that he's on. "Are you going to the road that you're on?"
Yeah. And
I sure am.
A big box.
Well, I got a couple boxes in there.
No, just one box, and it was It was great, but it was perfect. The transaction happened in a Jack in the Box parking lot, a few miles away from my house, and he was like, "Dude, you're saving me time," and I said, "You're saving me a lot of hassle." So, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And he thanked me, and it was.
We're
just
still high on the barge here.
It was great.
We're still pretty high on the barge. And in the meantime, it took me about another 5 hours past when you got yours for mine to get delivered.
We
and it wasn't
all
the same
saw
guy.
the video.
No, it
we
wasn't
all
the
saw
same.
the we all
No,
saw the
we
video
have
of you
only
waiting.
2,500 of us have.
That's right.
But if you're listening right now
Josh,
and you haven't
YouTube.
seen the video,
2,600, Josh.
2,600. Sorry. If you're listening right now, make sure you go see us on YouTube. Look up Holochronicles barge opening or barge
I'll say
unboxing.
the breakdown though, the 5-minute text breakdown we got of you.
No, it was so exciting.
It was pretty cool. We got pictures of it in the back of your
I
truck.
actually thumbs downed a few of the
He was-
pictures.
yeah,
I was angry.
Screw you, Andy.
Yeah, mine
pretty
arrived.
good.
Mine arrived later than I thought, but in the coolest way. So
That's pretty cool.
Thanks for sharing that. With
It
us.
was
That's good
like
stuff.
it was meant to be. So
It was.
I feel good when things have a certain serendipity to it. So
Sure.
all right. So now back to I have a theory.
All right.
And I've been working on this theory for about a month. And it's,
know you have.
And it's even kind of crept up and has kind of built its way in previous podcasts, things that we've talked about. And I feel like if this could happen, this would make for an awesome movie. It would make just about everybody.
And you're talking about your
Happy.
theories connected to what?
My theory is connecting to what the heck do we have to look forward in episode 9? What are we looking forward to? Because Luke's gone, Han's gone, the leadership of the First Order is basically gone. What's going to happen?
So you have an episode 9 theory.
Yes.
Okay.
And it kind of connects with the Easter egg that I just mentioned.
Right. Chopper.
It was
Okay.
something that you mentioned in a previous podcast. Where we were like, well, what connection do the sequels have to any of the previous,
Right.
or the prequels? Or I think that was something that you mentioned. And then one thing that we talked about was, do you think there will be any resistance members or things
Right.
cropping up to kind of connect the movies with the cartoons, and so all of these things were just kind of stewing in my head.
Sure.
And then of course Mace lives, right? We've been banging on that drum for a little bit,
Mace does live.
and
The
how
last mother.
and how easy it could be for him to still be alive, because I was just watching TNT had a marathon of Star Wars going on this weekend. Episodes 1 through 7, I think, and on Geonosis, Jango Fett blowtorches Mace off of this, little railing, and he falls
Yeah.
a good 200 feet.
Yeah.
And not only does he fall and land on his feet, but he whips off his robe, kind of in the same movement, and he just lands it, right?
Mace flies.
And so it's like
Mace lives.
we could make this
Mace
happen.
flies.
Very,
Hashtag.
very
New
easy,
hashtag.
JJ.
Mace flies.
Mace flies.
We could make this happen. So anyway, so here's my theory about the perfect way for episode 9 to go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Trevor?
I'm ready.
I'm here.
100%.
Picture this. The First Order wipes out the rest of the Resistance, and the First Order wins.
Wait, what?
What?
That was quick.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
Trevor's face was kind of funny
That
when he
was-
said that.
I don't know if I was on camera or not, but a
Uh,
little shocked.
could you imagine, though?
Nah, that'd be awesome.
Like-
it's like 20 minutes.
Like, sometimes the bad guys win.
yeah, they do.
That's
And
life.
Kyla's just like, what now?
Yeah, I won. You guys are all gone. I win.
Next stop, Broom Boy.
Well, that was easy. Yeah. Room boy.
That's the C sequels. No, okay. Seriously now. So this is what I've been thinking about. Okay, imagine with me. You can close your eyes if you want,
I will.
or don't.
We're on
Whatever.
We're on video.
It's pod.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
The new Resistance.
Just imagine our eyes are closed.
they're at the end of episode 8. They're dwindled down to about 20 people or
It
so.
looks like.
that can
Enough to
fit on the
Falcon.
Falcon, right?
Does that
And
include
so-
the smuggler bays underneath the
I don't
floor?
think they even needed those.
I could fit like
All the-
7 action figures
All the
in
crystal
mine.
dogs are under there.
Yes.
Yes.
No, they ran away.
Puppies.
So we know that the rebels / the resistance, they're in dire need of some help, right?
right.
Yes, yes, there is that line at the end of the movie. We have everything we need, and there's Rey. There's the broken lightsaber. There's the books.
She's the last Jedi.
The people on the Millennium Falcon, right? We have everything we need. But I think they can also agree that they could use some help.
Sure.
Right? So that's where we are left. All right.
Come on now.
Spoiler if you haven't seen the end of Resistance.
Okay,
or at least the last few.
Welcome to Star Wars.
Yeah, right. You won't be listening to this if you haven't seen all these.
Last Jedi. End of Resistance. That's spoilerish. Yeah.
So the Colossus, we find out, has a hyperdrive.
Okay.
Right? So they need a place.
That's a spoiler for me.
Son of a biscuit.
I see.
So I just spoiled
It's all right.
it for you.
It's fine.
I warned you.
I get it.
You didn't have to listen.
No. Cool.
Who comes up with these topics?
So and I've seen this I've seen this floated on Twitter too by a number of people that the Colossus will be the rebel base. It'll just be in space.
I saw that.
It won't be on a planet. It'll be in space. It'll fly around and kind of be mobile.
Yeah.
Which is big enough to house quite a few people. It's got hangars, it's got ships, it's got basically everything you would need in a base, and it's mobile. So that's where this setting is. Setting is on the Colossus. Okay. Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren, who play a big role in my theory here, they are the main antagonists altogether. And they may or may not all get along, but they are all together bad. They are a menace. They're laying waste to.
You're doing a full like Ryan, like you're making a full story right now.
So I'm just setting it up here, okay? They might even be Force users. And then
You are writing this.
So
the
this,
next,
the-
you're
yeah. So
writing
I've
the
got a
script.
paragraph
This
here,
is-
guys. I got
yeah.
a paragraph.
What color boots are they
Yeah,
wearing?
right.
Mostly black.
Are you going to act out like the words and
All right.
a fight scene?
No,
possibly?
Dive in
Okay,
here.
okay,
Come on,
okay,
buddy.
okay.
Come on.
But just track with me.
I know. I am.
When the showdown comes, and because we all know there's going to be a showdown, Kylo and the Knights and the First Order with Hux and maybe even like Commander Pyre,
Okay.
right? We get a gold since Phasma is gone, but maybe Phasma's not gone. She fell into a fiery
Good
explosion.
So
Maybe
every
she's
one
not
of your
gone.
theories is maybe, maybe not.
No, I'm
Well,
just
that's
saying.
what
that's
the definition of
a
theory is.
Yeah,
Maybe,
come on,
maybe
man.
not.
It's amazing.
So maybe we got Pyre, Commander Pyre, just the gold,
Right.
gold Phasma.
Gold Phasma. Yeah.
And then Hux and the
Maybe
rest
gold,
of the
maybe
First
not.
Order. And then on the other side, we've got Rey and Finn and Poe and the Resistance, which includes Kaz, right?
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
Poe,
yeah, I like where
Poe
you're
and
going.
Kaz. And by the way, we put a poll up last week. Which one of the Resistance people would you like to see make an appearance, either a cameo or play a role in Episode 9? And it was Kaz.
Yeah.
And it was also the BB droid, the red, the maroon and blue one. God dang it, I can't think of his name, but
It's fine. They haven't come up with
The
a name
role
for
he-
Episode 9, so you're fine.
they're still working on that.
No,
Do you
can
think
blank.
somebody knows?
They're blanking. You can blank.
Okay. Which includes Kaz and Mace. Mace shows up. Yes, Mace shows up.
Mace has got to be.
But
He's got to be.
but also get this. Okay.
May shows up.
We got a drop for that?
We do now. We do now.
But
We should go out on that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but then I also want you to know that where Rebels has ended, Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon.
Sure.
Just to
We're
clarify,
with you. We're with you.
Ezra is gone.
Right.
He is out there somewhere. Thrawn has him. He and Thrawn are gone somewhere. They are out there. And what last we saw, Sabine went to go find him and grabbed Ahsoka. They went to
Wow.
go look for him.
Yeah.
And
If they bring, whoa,
I
that's
know.
too
Are you
much.
talking about the end of the Rebels?
That's too much.
yes.
Oh,
They can't bring all those characters.
So,
in.
oh, by the way, this is
Have
this
you
is
watched all the
spoiler.
Rebels?
Spoiler. No,
Yeah, I
of course
haven't
I haven't.
I haven't
Spoiler.
either. Yeah, of course. That's
It's
great.
fine. It's
That's
fine.
great. I didn't know what this pod
He
was
said
going to hold.
spoiler.
I'm telling you, man, this is connecting Resistance and Rebels. It's going back to the prequels. We are tying it all together for a monster of a showdown. We got Billy
a 4-hour movie. Billy D's just there.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, just when you think it couldn't get any more, then all of a sudden Sabine, Ezra, and Ahsoka come in. Ahsoka, by the way, with the double white lightsabers.
Right.
White. She had
fulcrum.
Yes.
She's full fulcrum, right?
So she shows up. You know how bad you think people would lose their minds if Mace showed up. What do you think would happen if Ahsoka showed up?
That's true.
Holy crap.
That is true. I think it would be equally, mouth dropping, but Mace lives.
I
just want
Mace
intentional.
Mace lives.
Intentional. Anyway, so then there's this big showdown. Maybe even Thrawn shows up because we know he's out there somewhere. Or maybe even Ezra is one of the Knights of Ren. Holy crap.
Geez.
I'm blowing this up here.
Anyway, okay.
Now
I don't even.
That's not even
it's
written
down.
It's going
to be a 17-hour movie.
Yes, it is. And so
it's going to be a 17-hour pod.
So Kylo switches back to the light side with Rey. His lightsaber changes back to green.
It's just
yes.
It's like arcing to different colors.
It's kind of like so. Then there's like the happily ever after Hayden Christensen as the Force ghost. At the end of the at the end of the movie,
Annie,
just
drinking beer with his 2 kids,
and then the last scene because he's closed out 2 of the other movies. We get Chewie back on Kashyyyk, reunited with his wife. I believe her name is Mala, and his son.
Does anybody know
Lumperoo? Yes, Lumperoo. It's from the Star Wars special.
Lumperoo.
Did you guys know that?
Yeah,
did you know that?
Creepy grandpa.
Did you actually? What's his grandpa's name?
I didn't know any of
I didn't know
names.
any of
No,
this.
for God's sakes,
All
I
right.
never watched that.
Oh,
terrible
people
crap.
know.
It's good.
Okay, people
Love
know
They do
this
now.
stuff. I'm
They
not
do
the
now
only
if
one.
they listen to this pod.
And he goes, and then dun, 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 dun.
You just wrote the script. You
I
didn't come up with
did.
ideas.
I'm
You wrote
telling
the
you,
entire
It's like
script.
Bart Simpson
Yes.
comes swinging through the screen for just a minute because, we got them all, folks.
Okay, now you're being
Oh,
ridiculous.
okay. No, that's too far.
Now you're being
That's
ridiculous.
No, I don't mind that. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about a good theory. If you cover all the bases, you're going to be somewhat right.
You've got every
Okay,
theory
all right.
in there.
Ray will be in the next.
Some part about that will be true. Mark my words.
Oh man, I wish I would
Okay.
have focused. All right, dude. Mark his words.
Okay, so that what?
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't even know where to begin to dissect that because you were just like, and by the way, May shows up and Ahsoka's there, and I don't know. I love it.
Hold on.
Yeah, not
Hold
yet.
on.
Not yet. I like your theory. Let's just let the world and Twitter and Matt decide. How about that?
Okay, yeah, that's okay. All right.
That's our Twitter world.
We are here because we are collectors.
We are.
So,
I think we move along.
yeah, we're
do
moving
it.
along to the next thing.
Collector tip.
That's not my favorite.
It's mine.
It's not mine.
Trevor, what have you gotten recently?
It's here.
Focus.
It's here.
Focus
Right
here. I'll hand it to you. You can. There you go.
Here we go.
Talk about
Over
it.
The
We're
last
still
17
podding.
here. I don't know if you can see him here. We'll zoom in, but the last 17. I've been trying to collect these. This is EV.9D9. He is
He's
pain
handsome.
in the butt to get. Like
Well, it looks like his butt's on his front, to be honest
pain
with
in the
you.
front to
Yeah.
get. Yeah, front butt to get.
He's pretty sharp looking.
last
He's a
17,
good-looking
yes,
fella.
He's good.
Josh, what have you gotten
pretty
recently?
solid.
Congrats.
Yeah,
A last
good.
17
They're
is huge.
tough to get.
They're not.
They're tough to
They're
find.
good for you.
They're tough to save for.
Well, what besides the barge?
Other
Yeah,
than
and the barge, yeah.
No, I've done
geez.
some collecting. So I hit one of a popular site for buying items, OfferUp, and met a cool guy. You recommended him, or not him, but you recommended what he was selling. And then my brother hit me up with it. And I'm like, all right, well then I'm going to meet this guy. And he was
I'll
a cool
take a
guy.
look.
It's here, right?
Yeah, so we actually, I got
It's hidden back
just in honor of the barge. I got a nice Force Unleashed
grab it.
boba. Yeah, we don't have to do it now. Force Unleashed boba, and he's boostering out of the Sarlacc pit and firing down. It's
cool.
It's cool. It's an alternate universe type of deal. And then using some of our own collector tips, I said, hey, by the way, what other Star Wars stuff do you collect? And he unleashed a full barrage of Funko.
Oh,
And I have
Jeez.
purposely, to use Andy's term, avoided the funk hole because I'm like, man, I mean, I don't know if I like them because they're Star Wars, but it's a pit, and I've been to a few cons where people are just going Funko wild, and I've almost been happy to be like, I'm glad I'm not involved in that scenario. But then when you look at here's the intriguing thing as a collector, when somebody presents you with a great beginning and or just a fleshed out collection where you don't start from one or two or a few, you start from I've got a solid standing or foundation now in this particular collection. It intrigues you. So him and I have been communicating.
So are you going to buy the Funko set?
That's you know what? And maybe
how many does he have?
He's got, I would say he's got probably about 40 or 50.
Okay.
So, and I don't know
good
how many.
Start.
I don't know how many. And him.
Aren't there like 300?
There are
Star Wars.
hundreds.
Yeah, there's
there
probably
hundreds.
hundreds.
Of them.
I'm sure.
There
Just
are
kind of like
hundreds.
they're like Beanie Babies to me. So I'm just not sure. But like I said, a solid collection. And he's admittedly said I sold the really expensive ones on eBay for a ridiculous amount. They're one of the most profitable buy now, sell later toys out there. However, you guys can tell me on Twitter if I should avoid the funk hole. I mean, what the funk am I going to do here?
I had a friend that was collecting.
I got to be
just
fucking crazy to
Funko.
buy.
What the funk?
Funko crazy.
I had a friend that was collecting these, and he had every one all the way up, and there was like one or two that were exclusive. You could only get them like out at the San Francisco Comic-Con,
San Diego
Comic-Con, stuff like that. So who goes there?
There's no Funko
He
there.
you could only get them there. So he had all of them except for those one or two, and then in 1 year, within months, they just dumped. They just dumped, and there was hundreds
so
of them
it's a
released,
slippery slope, and that's kind of our That's my kind of collector tip is like, decide. I've taken some time to deliberate. We've communicated. I've got a deadline of tomorrow.
Oh, he gave you a deadline.
Well, he just said, I'm thinking about putting these up on eBay. What do you think? And I'm like, give me till tomorrow to really price it out and come up with an offer.
Maybe Twitter. Maybe they can talk you through it.
Maybe they can get me out of my funk.
That's tough to do when you don't know exactly which ones you got there, but good luck, Josh.
I do.
Well,
I have
could be the initial
detailed pictures. I can price every one of them.
Be the initial. Do you dive in?
All right. How about you? What'd you get?
There's a couple things that come to mind, but I think the one that I will share is that I've had a lot of fun with the Han Solo trilogy, the night from 1980, I think.
Yeah.
Han Solo Legacy books, Han Solo and the Lost Legacy. There's 3 of them. Anyway, we've talked about them a little bit, and I think that the one that I'm going to share with you guys is that I just bought the Lando Calrissian trilogy well from about that same time. And they're paperbacks, and they're not very big, but I haven't read them yet. But they look cool. They look kind of like along the same lines as the Han Solo ones, and I can't wait to read them.
Cool. Well, there you go. That's a good.
So that's kind of just recapping what we've gotten here recently. But collector tip for the week. I had an interaction on Twitter this week about how to restore some of the color, especially the white color in parts or figures.
Did you say you got a tip?
No, I had an interaction.
Oh, gotcha.
And I shared what I knew with another person, and they were very appreciative of it, and I figured, heck, this is good for everybody to know. There's a way to brighten up a faded figure or faded parts that were once white but have like either sun faded into like a yellowy orange. I know stormtroopers tend to turn orange if you just leave them in the sunlight, and especially after years and years and years, they can just fade. The white kind of goes away, washes out a bit, and there's a way to brighten them up, and that is for figures. You can just dump them in like a clear plastic or a clear glass jar of hydrogen peroxide, and then ironically, you set them back into the sunlight because the sunlight with
the hydrogen
the UV with the hydrogen peroxide really brightens them right up. And I've done it a number of times. Have you guys ever done that?
Yes.
And
in the sun.
I have.
How
not.
many days do you put them out there?
Well, it just depends on how sunny it is. If you got a nice, bright, sunny day, maybe 1 day.
Right.
But it doesn't hurt to put them out in 2 days if you just keep them submerged. If it's cloudy, overcast, it might be, a couple, 2-3 days, but it'll get the job done. and this hydrogen peroxide, you can buy a big jug of it for like $1, like $1.07, and you've got enough hydrogen peroxide to whiten up a squadron.
There's also different grades of peroxide too, so you can spend a little more and get a higher grade, which just from what I read online, will give you maybe a quicker, more efficient results. But the bottom line is that we have definitely thrown in some yellowed trupas,
and then also there's like a hydrogen peroxide gel that hairstylists use to kind of bleach.
Sure.
To bleach
I use
hair.
that on my beard.
Yeah, yes, you do quite well actually.
Yeah, just
certain
turns it
just
bright
certain
white.
spots. Yeah.
And doesn't go blonde; it goes white.
I'm an artist. Don't worry about it.
And so, so there's this pasty stuff that I've found works really well for like bleaching out parts, because you can't always submerge. Like maybe you don't have a container, a glass or plastic container big enough to house a TIE fighter wing or something like that.
Sure.
And so I just wanted to give out 2 YouTube videos, guys' names, and we'll post these on Twitter here. But there's one from the 8-bit guy. That's THE, the number 8, bit guy. The 8-bit guy. He's the video that I would recommend for brightening up.
And that doesn't affect the black on there.
No. It's just for white and some gray. Doesn't work that well on the grays. And then also Toy Polloi. So that's TOY, toy. And then Polloi is POLLOI. Those 2 videos, they're everything you need to brighten up some of your old figures.
Sure.
And again, we'll post these up on Twitter, but they have been incredibly useful for me, for us, and they could work wonders on some of your guys too.
Side note on that. The first time we kind of got back together and started doing this, when I went up to your house, parked outside your house was a glass.
Yeah.
Probably
we had
6 or 7
mason
of those.
jar.
A mason jar full of these things sitting out in the sun. I remember we
just
brought
drowning troopers.
Yeah, just
and
drowning
hydrogen
troopers.
peroxide. Yeah, cheap hydrogen peroxide. So
it
works, and do some before and after. Post them. Show us how it worked for you guys. The guy that shared the hydrogen peroxide paste stuff for the hair product, he was actually trying to brighten up old computer parts.
Right.
Oh. And and he had a UV light that he used on his, which if you have one, that's great. You don't have to have a sunny day to do it. But
Is that like a black light like I have in my room, my bedroom?
Well, they're like black
I'm
lights.
just kidding.
They really
How about a
brighten
disco
up
ball? Does a disco ball help?
If you've got UV lights shining on it, maybe.
The little things you sit in front of to make you feel
Right,
better?
Yeah.
Those, with the oct lights.
Yeah.
All right, before we go, hold on.
Before we go,
I got a little present for you guys.
For me,
I meant to do it at the Barge video, but what I'm doing is I'm opening up a little pack here.
You can watch this on YouTube.
You can watch it on YouTube. And
plastic.
it is Barge related.
License plate.
You can see it on YouTube.
It's very license platey.
Tell by the sound of what's happening.
This is for each of you to put on your display barge, or the display of your barge. I don't know where you'll mount it.
Oh, I think I know what that is.
Well, it's something.
That's
And
cool.
So I'm going to promote. There's a certificate for you.
Certificate. Beckett certificate.
Yep. There's a certificate for you.
Barge. Oh, yeah.
And so what this is
This
just a
is
plaque
cool.
for your barge. It says Jabba Sail Barge, the Katana Limited Edition. Has a HasLab and the Star Wars Vintage, a picture of the barge and its various states, and a signature by Charlie Bailey, who is a model maker not only on a lot of Star Wars stuff, but on this barge itself. So this is a signed plaque.
Oh, that's cool.
For
very cool.
For
Can we
your
get
barge.
Very cool.
Yeah, what can you do there?
Zoom in
There you go. Thanks, Charlie Bailey. You can look him up. I tried to research him a little bit, and really what you get out of him is you guys saw that image earlier of him working on the original
And so this right
sail
here,
barge model.
that right there. Can you see that at all?
Yeah.
That's the hut symbol
Yep.
right there. That's really
Nerd.
cool. Thank
What
you,
a nerd.
Josh.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you,
and
Josh.
then I want to thank, I
Charlie
I
Bailey.
couldn't find them,
out
but
here.
It's We Back the Barge on Facebook. It was a very cool person on there, obviously, who had connections with Charlie and also made plaques, and they sold them. It's just a cool deal. Like, I don't care if, and I hope they did, if they made any money, but they just offered a really cool deal, and it was very simple to sign and get it, and so I'm pretty excited about it too.
Yeah,
it's called We Back the Barge on Facebook.
We Back the Barge on Facebook.
Okay. Well, if you got a barge, then this would be an excellent.
I think the run is done, but you could definitely the signatures by Charlie are gone. That was a 1-day shot for them to get Charlie to sign all those.
Wow.
So, but they definitely make these plaques. So check out We Back the Barge, and on our next pod, I'll make sure I can find the name so I can plug them, or I'll put them in the notes.
His last name looks like Barge. His signature looks like Barge.
Charlie Barge.
Charlie Barge.
He's perfect for this.
Or if you want to hit me up, mine is now for sale.
Just
kidding.
Just
kidding.
Oh, man. We Back the butthole.
What a douche.
Okay. I think.
Thanks, Josh.
Do we have?
Good show,
you're welcome.
guys.
We're welcome, and we're glad to be back. And thanks for watching, everyone out there. And
see how the YouTube goes off, and
we'll get this all up and running for you guys. So
don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel now that we've got one.
We'll get a tag
at
for that.
Holochronicles.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook.
All there.
Follow us on Instagram.
You can do all that stuff.
And then listen to us wherever.
Oh wait, pause that.
Pause.
Take it down, Trev. It's okay. We're live. No, it's still going. There it goes. So before we go, I wanted to go out on a different one. That's okay. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're a working pod here.
Yeah.
Mace lives.
Liz. Hit it.
Take us out. Thanks, guys.
Terrible.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
See you in a week.
Terrible.
This party's over.
What you say, bass?
Take a seat.
Oh, snap.
For your own good, stay out of this thing.
Oh, yeah, bass. Bass talking big.
If what you've told me is true, you will have gained my trust.
Mistrust.